ayaw bumaligtad. Ayan. Bumaligtad na ang ating camera.
Presidential candidates, 10 common questions, 5 minutes to answer, 60 seconds to answer the personal issue-based question, a political fast talk, one final question, a gong sound.
Gong sound.
All answers are unedited. This is the 2022 Presidential One-on-One Interviews with Boy Abunda.
Let's
Good
start.
evening
Go, Yorme.
and welcome. Our guest tonight, Mayor Isko Moreno.
Thank you, Tuboy. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
First, let's talk about the environment. Mining in particular, because this is one of the most controversial environmental issues. Noong Abril 2021, President Duterte lifted the 9-year moratorium on granting new mining permits sa pamamagitan ng EO 130, Executive Order 130. December 2021, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, DNR, ay nilift din ang ban on open pit mining through Department Administrative Order number 2021-0. Pinuri ito ng mga taga-mining industry. Ibig sabihin ng mga desisyong ito na dalawa ng DNR at ni President Duterte. Samantala, binatikos ito ng mga human rights and environment defenders. Ang aking katanungan, Mayor Isko, you are applying to become the next president of
Nadirinig niyo
the
ba,
Republic
guys?
of the Philippines. If elected, pagtitibayin mo ba ang mga desisyong ito o ipapawalang bisa?
Pagtitibayin na. Because isa sa pinakamagandang asset ng bansa ay yung ating mga minerals. No? There is also what you call the responsible mining. And there is gold standard and world standard of mining and responsible one. And it has to be applied to everyone, to anyone. No? And at the sitwasyon natin ngayon, sa hirap ng buhay ng ating bansa, sa hirap ng epekto ng pandemyang ito sa ating ekonomiya, we need to generate more FDIs, foreign direct investment, more jobs, more source of income. We cannot keep on taxing our people based para mapatakbo natin ng gobyerno. Kailangan natin kumita, pero we can be responsible in our environment. And I think there's already rules in this world that is applicable and can be applied to our mining industry.
Klaro lamang, so pagtitibayin mo yung pag-lift ng moratorium doon sa pag-grant ng new permits.
We will allow mining.
You will allow mining,
Yes.
but what you're trying to say is you will allow sustainable mining.
Yes.
And you will also allow open pit mining, katulad ng sinabi ng DNR.
The mining, it has to be an industry.
Okay.
Hindi yan pwede tayo mag-backyard at maging irresponsible na lamang. It has to have a rule. And the rules and standards of this world can be applied in our industry, the mining industry that we're going to open or we're going to continue. Yun ang importante. Kasi with that, magkakaroon ka ng sustainable mining, tapos may papapangalagaan mo ang kapaligiran at the same time.
Sa iyong kampanya, would you accept mining money
Mining money?
na donation? Halimbawa, may isang nagsabing, Mayor Isko, gusto kong tumulong, pero galing sa mina ang pera.
Well, kung yung mina na pinanggalingan na hindi illegal at legal at makatwiran yung pagninegosyo nila, responsable yung pagninegosyo nila, why not? Kailangan ko ng lahat ng uri ng tulong.
For the sake of argument, Mayor Isko, pinag-uusapan yung destruction of the natural habitat. Kasi merong nagsasabi, kami, sustainable mining kami. Ibinabalik namin yung mga kahoy at lahat, no? Ang argumento laban doon ay, pag ibinalik mo naman, iba na eh. Iba na yung posisyon ng kahoy. Na-pollute na yung tubig. What do you have to say?
Well, that's why you have to be responsible to your action. if there is a clear-cut rule that those people who will violate or destroy the environment, irresponsible mining, then the rules should be applied to any John Does and Mary, whether foreigner partnered with the Filipinos or Filipino-owned mining company. And Tito Boy, what we need is to create jobs because we've lost so much nowadays. What we need is new business because the economy is really affected by this pandemic. We have to be aggressive. We have to be practical. But at the same time, we have to be responsible also for the next generation. And these are the things that are existing in the world with the gold standard of mining.
I have
that
the new
should
data,
be
actually. 184,000 jobs have been created, 102.3 billion pesos ang contribution sa GDP.
At ito pa isa, dapat pag nagbukas tayo ng mina, no, dapat may industriya ang nakikreate. Dapat meron din tayong industrial, like for example, let's just say, for the sake of argument and conversation, we wanted to get the ore. And I think we should come up with a plant producing steel that creates another jobs. So, kumbaga, kailangan, hindi lang tayo hihinto doon sa pagmina. O, tapos ibebenta na sa labas. It can create another industry to produce such material.
Ang record kasi, at kasama dito ang ilang sustainable mining companies, there is biodiversity loss, merong ecological imbalance, dihaharas minsan ng mga locals, ang mga tao na naroon. Pag sinasabi mong we must stick to the rules exactly as president, ano yun?
Well, if there are existing laws, it is applicable to anyone, to any corporation, whether it's startup mining company or large corporation company, the rules are the same. Yun yung sinasabi kong predictability and certainty of rules. So those who will violate, no matter how big they have to be shut down. And those who comply, tutulungan ng pamahalaan para lalo silang yumabay.
Mayor Isko, let's go to COVID-19. Let's talk about the pandemic. Sa kasalukuyan,
Ingat po lahat sa
dalawang bagay ang alam
COVID.
natin. Una, ikaw, ako, at lahat ng nagmamasaya sa pag-uusap na ito ay alam nating lahat pinadapa tayo ng virus na ito. Sabi ng DOH, mahigit sa 3 million cases sa bansa na. And mahigit 50,000 deaths dito sa Pilipinas. Sabi naman po ng John Hopkins COVID-19 dashboard, more than 300 million cases around the world and more than 5 million deaths globally. Maraming mga Pilipino, Mayor, ang nawalan ng trabaho, kabuhayan, mga mahal sa buhay, marami ang nasirang relasyon, mga plano, mga pangarap. Yan ang una. Pangalawa, alam din natin na ang virus na ito ay napaka-unpredictable. 2 taon na natin itong nilalabanan at maraming variants na ang ating narinig. Nariyan ang Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Delta Plus, Omicron. The virus acquires genetic changes, meaning it mutates. Paano, ano ang susunod, nobody knows. It is both vicious and unpredictable. Ang tanong, given the unpredictability and the viciousness of this virus, bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, ano ang programa mo para sa COVID-19 ngayon?
Well, what we have done in Manila is to really confront COVID-19 and prepare for any worst scenario. We acquire medicines, we acquire oxygens, we acquire facilities, we acquire more medical frontliners. Then at the same time, bukas ang ekonomiya, bukas ang trabaho. So given a chance, may awa ang Diyos, pala rin ako, I'll treat it as an endemic. Because mas maraming namamatay sa ibang sakit sa ating mga ospital, dala ng hindi na nakakapunta, dahil napupuno yung ating mga hospital, private or public. So this, nowadays, if you see Spain and other countries, they're treating it differently. It's like a normal flu nowadays. Now, the thing is, we have to strengthen our vaccination because, sabi mo nga, virus, it has to be approached scientifically. We must continue to believe in, in this existing antiviral medicines that we acquired in the city of Manila that are existing in the world. Remdesivir, tocilizumab, baricitinib, molnupiravir, may bago pa ngayon, Paxlovid, which we are about to acquire in a matter of few days. So, we have to be ready, always ahead of the numbers of capacity than the numbers of infection, then we must open. We must offer job. We must open business. We must be aggressive in dealing with this COVID-19. We can learn how to live with COVID-19 and go back to work safely. That is our approach in Manila, and that is the approach that I'm going to do in the entire country.
Okay. Be prepared na ipaliwanag ng mabuti na intindihan natin with your enumeration of the various meds para sa COVID. Doon lamang ako dun sa confront. Anong ibig sabihin when you say we must confront the virus? Ito ba yung lockdown? Ito ba yung...
No.
Anong ibig sabihin ng lockdown?
It's live with it. Live with it.
Okay.
Live with it. As long as we build more hospital, the way we build bagong hospital ng Maynila, we build like, for example, Manila COVID-19 Field Hospital in Luneta, para yung may mga sakit na walang kakayanan mag-isolate, meron silang paglalagakan, papanatag ang pamilya nila at ang pamilya nila tuloy maghanap buhay. So these are the things that are doable, duplicable, scalable. So we've shown you the prototype on how to address it. Manila is the most dense city in the country, if not in Asia. But as you can see, siksikan na kami, pero bakit hindi bumubulwak? Because lagi kami naghahanda ahead of that. May projection. We always think of the worst scenario. And I'm fortunate, thanks to British government. I was sent to February of 2020. I spoke with Cobra. I got the plan of British government. Kinapi ko. In-implement ko except for the weather because we don't have winter. So, pwede siyang pagandaan. And in the long-term process, because if this COVID-19 dumating ngayon, another type of virus, I think it's high time for the state, for the government, for the Philippine government to invest into our human resources, scientists, doctors, to create our own agency to find cure and medicine of our own. Pasinin mo, Tito Boy, lagi tayo nakadepende sa bakuna. Huli tayo, natatawa nga ako doon sa sinabi ng isang bansa, yung pag-aaral nila, late daw ang Pilipinas sa vaccination. Kaya kami late nyo kami binigyan ng bakuna eh. So we must have that kind of access. If they can do it there, we can do it here. And I think it's high time for the state, the national government, to invest to, like, for example, UP-PGH, UP Medicine, or other schools.
On our own vaccine.
On our own vaccine.
Sarili nating gamot.
On our own vaccine, on our own medicine. Magaling tayong Pilipino. Kaya tayo na-hire sa iba't ibang malalaking kumpanya sa mundo. Now, let's pull them back to the country and invest on it. And I think it's high time for us to discover our own vaccine, discover our own medicine, because kaya natin.
And it may take a little while,
It will take
pero
only...
meron tayong sarili.
Exactly. That's why, ito yung paghahanda, pero ito yung future.
Mayor Isko, paliwanag lang, ano yung endemic versus pandemic para maunawaan namin?
Well, ang logic is, it's like meron kang trangkaso, meron tayong ubo. Kumbaga, as long as nababawasan mo yung mortality rate because you have medicine, you have vaccine, you have medicine, you have oxygen, you have antiviral drugs, and of course, machineries in our public hospital equipment. The way we did, we built.
So what is the difference between an endemic and a pandemic?
Normal na tayo, yung ganyan na lang. Kahit may pag-ubo mo, nilalagnat ka, gusto mo mag-isolate ka. Gusto mo magtrabaho ka.
What does it do to them? Okay, let's talk about poverty. Specifically yung kawalan ng trabaho at gutom. Tuwing eleksyon, may mga slogan ang mga nag-a-apply bilang presidente. Panahon ni President Gloria, narinig natin yung pagkain
Sarap
sa bawat
ng tawa ni
pagkainan.
Yorme.
President era para sa mahirap. President Aquino, kung walang kurap, walang mahirap. Ang ibig sabihin, ang dating nito sa amin, starring ang mahirap pag-eleksyon. According to the PSA, the Philippine Statistics Authority, ang mga walang trabaho, ito lamang ay dadaanan kumabilisan. October of 2001, 3.27 million. October 2010, 2.79 million. October of 2016, 2 million. October 2021, 3.5 million. Ayon naman sa SWS, Social Weather Station, ang mga kababayan nating nagugutom in percentages, taking into consideration the fluctuation of the population. Third quarter of 2001, 9.3%. Third quarter of 2010, 15.9%. Third quarter of 2016, 10.6%. September 2021, 10% or around million Filipinos ang nagugutom. Ang katanungan, bilang nag-a-apply sa pagka-presidente ng Pilipinas at given itong mga data na galing sa PSA na meron tayong 3.5 million Filipinos na walang trabaho at 2.5 million na nagugutom, bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, with these urgent problems of joblessness and hunger, ano po ang inyong gagawin?
Well, we did it in Manila again. We created poverty alleviation yan eh. Pagpapataas ang antas ng pamumuhay ng tao. So we created housing. Housing creates jobs. Housing, infrastructure, vertical infrastructure that addresses social perennial problem, which is homelessness or ownership. No? Nag-create pa siya ng maraming industry. Tinamaan ng semento, tinamaan ng bakal, tinamaan ng trabaho, equipment, gasolina, and so on and so forth. So you must be aggressive. That's why when I said, I will continue the build of President Duterte, but build more schools, build more hospital, build more housing. Because this will generate jobs. This will stimulate our economy. And this creates opportunity to business and to the people. So, that's one. And with regard to the environment, for example, let's just say nag-open tayo ng mining, no? Imagine mo, maraming mga nasa bundok, walang trabaho, no? Then, let's start reforestry. Mag-reforestation tayo. Reforest tayo ng magtanim tayo ulit ng mga puno. Then, yung mga IPs, yung mga indigenous people, i-hire natin. Sila ang pagtanimin natin. They know better than anybody else on how to plant trees. So, you address the environment, you open something, it affects something, you address it, and it affects something. So, maraming pwedeng gawin. But I do believe the minimum basic needs. And I remember my professor in UP would always say, MBN, minimum basic needs. When you address housing, education, healthcare, and jobs, this will alleviate the status o kalalagayan ng ating mga kababayan. That's why, since time immemorial, nung ako'y mag-gobyerno, ito na tinutukan ko. Nung ako'y mag-alkalde, yun ang ginawa ko lahat. Babae, eskwelahan, ospital, trabaho. We've lost 7% in our business. We grew 12%. In 2 years, pandemic, we are positive 5%. We grew in terms of income without raising taxes. Without raising taxes, nag-amnestia pa ako. We've issued the longest amnesty in the city of Manila's history. 6 months, twice. But we generated more income because naging episyente, naging masinop ang pamahalang lungsod ng Maynila.
Yung programa both addresses long and short-term problems?
Yes, the social perennial problem is homelessness. So we wanted to create jobs. At the same time, we addressed that. So you created also helping an industry. Yeah? Ang pagtatayo ng building, maraming beses yung trickling down effect, no? Yung tinatama ang industriya. So when you stimulate, sinagot mo na yung problema ng tao na paulit-ulit, and in fact, nga pala, wala akong slogan. Kasi ang slogan, hindi naman yan gumagamot sa problema ng tao. In fact, ang tawag ko dyan, porn poverty ba yun? Yung ginagahasa mo yung kahinaan ng tao. So sa akin, Maynila, pantay-pantay. Mahirap, middle class, mayaman. Kaya yung housing namin, the in-city vertical housing, addresses homelessness, non-ownership, at yun ang umupahan. Nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon. Pantay sila.
Mayor Isko, pag pinag-uusapan ang ito nga, kahirapan,
Sure.
poverty, specifically itong homelessness, halimbawa, saka gutom, meron bang epekto ang korapsyon?
Of course, malaki.
Kasi
Dahil kapag matakaw ang... Ito, bibigyan kita
Okay.
magandang halimbawa. For example, 6 months pinakain namin ng Manila. Bakit? 700,000 families. Sabi kasi ng SWS, with your data, in 2020, September, sabi magkakaroon daw ng taggutom sa 2021. So, ang ginawa namin, kinancel namin ng road maintenance, nilagay ko sa food security program, 6 months kumain ang 700,000 families in the city of Manila. Every month, 700,000. So, yes, it's true. Kapag talagang may mga magnanakaw sa gobyerno, makakati ang kamay, kawawa ang tao.
Undersecretary Cyril Ramos said, the DOF, that 20% of the national budget goes to corruption. About 670.
He knows better than me. He's a former
Okay,
president.
but you agree?
Pero most likely, it's happening. We saw it eh. May mga nakukulong, may mga sentensyado nga, hindi nakukulong eh. Buti pa yung naawa ko
out.
doon sa isang matanda eh. Nagkamali lang nakunin yung mangga ng may mangga eh. Nakulong eh. Yung mga nagnakaw na...
And that tells you
kabay-
what, Mayor?
That is inequality. That is grave injustice. Lalo na sa mahirap.
Let's talk about OFW, migrants. As of September
Mabuhay ang
2019,
mga
ang
OFWs.
estimated number of OFWs worldwide is 2.2 million. According to PSA again, 96.8 nito ay may mga kontrata po overseas. 3.2 ay walang kontrata. Ang mga remittances ng mga OFWs, just for us to have an idea, ay noong 2018 po, 28.9 billion US dollars. Noong 2019, 30.1 billion US dollars. Noong 2020, 29.9 billion US dollars. As of October 2021, 25.9 dollars. In 2018, remittances sent by OFWs accounted for 11% of the total GDP of the country. Sa kabilang dako nito, Mayor, ay may tinatawag na social cost. Ito yung unquantifiable because it contributes to the destruction of the Filipino family. Kung ikay papalarin manalo bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, how do you balance the economic contributions of the OFWs and the unquantifiable cost of migration that contributes to the destruction of the Filipino family?
That's why when I said about a few weeks ago, a peso spent in Metro Manila doesn't give us any growth. So the same peso that I'm going to spend in terms of development in Metro Manila, I will spend it in the far-flung areas because it will generate more economic growth and opportunity in the provinces. So parehong pera, pero niredirect mo. When you have this, when you have opportunity for the farmers, binigyan mo sila ng pagkakataon na bilhin ng gobyerno sa tamang halaga yung kanilang produkto, panatag sila, magtatanim sila. Meron silang ayuda sa gobyerno na matatakbuhan para yung kanilang abono, yung kanilang patubig. Then, nobody wanted to send their children somewhere else. So when there is an opportunity, because most of these numbers that you're saying is the from the
Katya Park
far-flung
Vlog.
areas sa probinsya.
Magandang gabi.
Kaya yan umaalis ng
Nakikinig
bansa.
tayo kay
Siyempre, hindi
Yorme.
naman masisisi sa hirap ng
Interview
buhay.
with Boy
Tapos
Abunda.
makukwento ng kapitbahay. Ako nga, di ba, nangarap ako maging seaman. Dahil yun ang gusto ko talaga, maging kapitan ng barko. Because there's an opportunity there. Now, how to create an option? Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina dito. You have to generate more FDIs. If you create more foreign direct investment, then
Nadidinig
it will
po ba?
generate more opportunity. At the rate we're going about $4 billion.
Yorme.
Yung mga neighboring countries natin na $13 billion, $30 billion. Why? Napakamahal ng gasolina natin, napakamahal ng kuryente natin. So hindi nagpupuntahan sa atin yung mga pabrika, yung mga industriya. Doon sila lahat nag-i-invest. Ang rules natin hindi certain. Kaya ang dami mong kinausap na. Maniniwala ka ba na I think by the hundreds of signature just to approve, Tito Boy, just to approve a PPP. You know what I'm gonna do with that? Okay, ayan ba rule 100? O lahat kayo 100 na tao maupo kayo rito sa lamesa. You sign. You read, you sign. If you agree, you sign. Then we finish in less than 1 month. It will take 2 years just to push for the PPP. Not yet approved. To push for PPP. So there are rules, too much bureaucracy, too much redundancy, unnecessary redundancy in the rules. Now, bumaba na sa nasyonal, bababa na sa lokal. Pagdating sa lokal, hanggang tanod, problema ng negosyante. So, paano papasok sa ating negosyante? Paano natin sasagutin na sila, wag na kayo pumunta ng abroad, wag kayo magkalala, magdadala ko ng negosyo dito, magdadala ko ng
Hindi
investment.
na kayo alis.
Hindi na kayo alis. Now, yan ang option. The value of income abroad, the value of income in the country, plus with your family, this without your family. And that's how address the social cost of going abroad.
Are you in agreement with the creation of the Department of Migrant Workers of the President?
Well, there's so many laws already. Tito Boy,
So what you're trying to say is you don't need, hindi mo na kailangan itong departamento ito.
bago ako gumawa ng isang batas, I'll make sure na yung isang department na yun, yun din ba yung ginagawa? Kung hindi naman, then we create.
Sa iyo
Pero what
now
is
right now, is
important?
that a duplication?
Well, I don't know. Yung intricacy, yung mga OWA, POE, and so on and so forth. But the thing is, ito, ang pinakamabisang tulong natin sa OFW, yung polo. We should put professional people in our embassy abroad. Oo. Yung labor officer natin. O kasi kita mo, ilan na ba ang naapi nating mga kababayan? Ilan ba ang naargabyado nating mga kababayan? Mga kontrata nila hindi nare-recognize. Iba ang iba ang sinulat dito bago umalis. Pagdating doon, iba ang ginagawa. How do they get protected? And yet you're telling me billions and billions of pesos or dollars for
Ang pinapadala dito sa
ang pinapadala dito. And they don't get premium.
Yeah. When you become president, you look forward to the day na malaki ang mababawas sa ating migrant workers.
I'm hoping so. With your help, with the help of everyone and the investor, building trust again for the country's credibility as a country of nation, certain of rules, predictable, and that's very important in investment.
Ano yung pananaw na tinatawag natin silang bagong bayani?
Well, ginagahasa din ng ating mga OFW ng mga politiko. Tinatawag lang na bagong bayani. Saan ka nakakita ng bagong bayani? Pag nag-positive sa airport, pinagbabayad natin ng 6,000 pesos. That's why we offered Manila COVID.
At it normalizes the risks of working abroad.
Di ba? I mean, parang bagong bayani, pag dumating dito, kawawang-kawawa. 6,000 pesos nagbabayad. That's what we offer Manila COVID-19 Field Hospital for free for OFW. At the very least that we can do. So, iba yung kiyaw-kiyaw, iba yung lip service.
Let's talk about social media. Pag-usapan natin ang internet, specifically cyber pornography. Noong 2021, Year in Review report ng Pornhub, isang online adult video streaming website. Sabi dito, ang mga Pinoy daw, spent 11 minutes, 30 seconds watching porn, making the Philippines top 1. Talo natin ang France at ang Japan. Some of the known social media sites, apps, Twitter, Snapchat, ngayon ay ginagamit na minsan. And some Facebook groups are being used as alternative porn sites. May kwento lamang ako dalawa. Mabilis na lamang to. Si Billie Eilish is a young singer. Yeah, American singer-songwriter. She's 20 years old. She turned 20 actually last year. Ang kwento niya, in an interview last year, sabi niya, 11 years old, I got exposed to pornography. Pagkatapos daw ay na-addict siya sa porn. And then, may mga pagkakataon na ang kanyang napapanood ay ang akala niya normal. So, she was hooking up with multiple sex partners dahil yun ang kanyang napapanood. In her words, sabi niya, my brain was destroyed. I felt devastated. She had nightmares.
At 11 years old, may access siya?
Meron. Sleep paralysis, and then her mental health was damaged. Last year, she turned 20 nga, sabi ko kanina, now she's on the road to recovery. Tanong, at ito'y hypothetical. Nalaman mo at na-confirm mo nang yung menor de edad na anak ay addicted to cyber pornography. Bilang magulang, ano ang gagawin mo? At bilang presidente, kung ikay papalari ng Pilipinas, paano mo ito itatawid sa iyong pulisiya on the welfare and protection of children?
Okay. Well, as a parent, you always talk to your children and be reasonable to them. And try to explain them the gravity of the situation, especially kung minor de edad. No? That is the job of being a parent to your children. Wala namang perfectong magulang, wala namang perfectong pamilya, but at the very least that you can do is really talk and try to be sensible to your children. But as a leader, alam mo, Tito, mapalad ako nakapag-aral-aral ako kung saan-saan. Kaya ako, nababahala na more than the porn. No, more than the porn. Another problem with us is yung masyado ng palasak. Yung social media.
Napakinggan natin si Yorme, boy Abunda.
Sinasabi mo nga ngayon, pati social media ginagamit na as porn site. I'll teach them a very good lesson. This social media company, I'll make them responsible because nagiging outlet yung kanilang mga sites. I'll make them responsible. That all those accounts must be real. Alam mo, may plano talaga akong ganyan na papapanagutin natin yung mga pinagpabaliwala lamang ng mga social media companies na to. It destroys our country. It destroys society. It destroyed already a country and countries because of this pagbabaliwala. Now, and technically, I'll block their IP address. I'll make the ICT as a powerful agency to go after to this corporation, to go after to this website and so on and so on. Then, I'll start talking to, for example, let's just say GCash, Paymaya, FinTech, or even credit cards, banking system. Kasi para nung mapanood mo yan, kailangan mo magbayad. So there are so many things that we can do. Technically, we'll go after them because I do believe it's an issue. An issue to a person, an issue to a family. And it has to be addressed by the state.
Okay, I heard you. But you're aware na ang isang 12-year-old child can actually get into an app by faking all the requirements.
Yes.
Doon yung sinasabi mo na, go ahead.
Yeah, yun yung sinasabi ko na dapat pag kumukuha ng account, pag naggagawa ng account, let's just say para sa mga manonood natin, pinakamadali na siguro, pag kukuha ka ng Facebook account, you have to submit the data to prove that you are Boy Abunda, picture of Boy Abunda, data of Boy Abunda, be submitted before you created an account. Hindi yung 5-5 email lang, 5-5 cellphone numbers lang, pwede ka na magkaroon ng
Mayor,
account.
you give this to the platform.
Of course, you have to agree.
Platform.
You have to agree. Hindi ka naman nila pipilitin na to sign up
Nung sinasabi mo, I will hold these platforms responsible,
Yes.
ginagawa yan ng maraming bayan, di ba? Nakita natin sa Zuckerberg, for example, in the US
I saw it.
congressional
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
How
they
do
were
you do
amazing.
that in the Philippines para makipag-usap at makipagharapan sa'yo?
Pag hindi nila ginawa, di-block ko IP address nila.
Okay.
Wala na silang negosyo sa Pilipinas. Diba? I would
Hindi
love.
kaya magalit sa'yo ang tao.
Well, hindi naman to Mr. and Mrs. Congeniality.
Okay.
Leadership is all about protecting your people, proteksyonan mo mamamayan mo, unahin mo tao mo, yung nasasakupan mo. That's how you define yourself. There are things on what you call them, madalas mo kung marinig dito, maasim man na suka, kailangan mong inumin. Ganun ang pagiging leader. Kaya ka inilalagay para pamahalaanan mo ang tao.
But isn't that a bit too extreme? Ito ang problema na maliit. Alam din natin lahat ang magagandang bagay na dulot ng social media.
Well, it creates jobs. Kung wala ka namang masamang intensyon, kung wala ka namang masamang balak, nothing to worry. Diba? For example, Boy Abunda, check. Blue. Isko Moreno, blue. Confirm account. You cannot just, eto, Tito Boy, bago maubos yung oras. What if I created a Boy Abunda account and I posted something there? Can you be held liable? It's not you. See, that's the problem. So it creates more problem than benefits. And we know for a fact, it destroyed a country already at some portion of this world.
There is actually a fake Boy Abunda account.
See?
I've written to Facebook to complain many times over. Walang ginawa.
Exactly. Sino tatakbuhan mo? Ang leader, ang estado, ang bansang kinabibilangan mo. Dapat katabi.
Mayor Isko, let's talk about abortion. Specifically, rape-related abortion. Sabi ng pinsan, Philippine Safe Abortion Advocacy Network at Engender Rights Incorporated, isang Filipino woman and girl is raped every 75 minutes. About 1 in every 8 Filipino women who resorts to abortion is a rape survivor. 70 women induce abortion every hour. Complications from unsafe abortion is one of the 5 leading causes of maternal death and the leading cause of hospitalization in the Philippines. 2012 alone, 610,000 Filipino women induced abortion. Over 100,000 women were hospitalized and 1,000 women died due to unsafe abortion complications. Dahil wala nga tayong access to safe abortion in the country, at least, Mayor Isko, 3 women die every day from unsafe abortion complications. You're applying to be president of this country. Sa iyong palagay, panahon na to enact a law on abortion that would allow pregnant rape victims the choice of legal and safe abortion?
No, life is life to me. Same thing that I apply to criminals. Due process of law will be observed. Equal opportunity, equal chance, and the same thing when I value those lives are suspected criminals, yung karapatang pantao nila na may paliwanag ang sarili, the same manner applied to any life. I don't like taking life. So, ayoko ng abortion. But I am pro-choice in terms of other things like kung ano yung mga accessible na pwedeng ibigay ng Estado para sa family planning. But when there is life already, nobody should take it away. Kasi ipinagkaloob ng Diyos yun. Oh, that's my personal opinion.
Pinagkaloob ng Diyos, pero the situation is, ginahasa ang batang ito, ang babaeng ito, nagbubuntis ng isang bata na unwanted. Does that still fall into your reasoning na yan ay bawal?
Dahil yung bata na yun na sinapupunan ng nanay, walang kakayanan, ipagtanggol lang sarili niya. Buhay na yun eh. Life na yun eh.
Pero mayroon kong choice ng nanay.
Hindi lang yun para sa kanya. Buhay din yun nasa tiyan niya. There is a life inside the womb. Life is life. Only God can take it away, not human being.
Dadagdagan ko pa ito ng certain points. Tatay ang nakabuntis sa anak. O di kaya there was a story about a doctor na nabuntis ng nagpaaral sa kanya, ang kanyang guardian. Kahit sa mga pagkakataong ganito,
Hindi maganda ang social status, hindi maganda ang social impression. For whatever impression o ano man ang sasabihin ng ibang tao, it may had a bad effect sa society, sa katatayuan ng ina o ng bata. But life is life. Bawat buhay mahalaga. Ang buhay ng mahirap o buhay ng middle class, buhay ng mayaman, pare-pareho ang mahalaga. The same manner, yung walang kamalay-malay na bata sa sinapupunan ng ina, paano man siya na-conceive? In a bad way or in a good way? Life is life.
Mayor, paano naman yung karapatan ng merong malay na ina
That's
na
what-
ayaw niyang magkaanak?
Tama naman yon. Pero di ba, yun yung buhay natin. Hindi ko ginusto maging basurero. Hindi ko ginusto kumain ng tira ng tao. Ba't yun ang pinagkaloob sa akin ng tadhana? Ipinilit kong magsigasig. Ipinilit kong ibangon ng sarili ko. Pinilit kong pagbutihin ng sarili ko nang makilala ko ng lipunan, ng maayos na tao. Meron akong kalungkutan sa buhay ng mga nagdaan. Pero hindi ako pwede mamuhay na lamang sa mga nagdaan para sa aking kinabukasan. Life must go on. We must face these challenges. We must. And that's where the church, the state, the family come in.
Mayor,
We
but
support.
that's a different story.
Yeah.
Oo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
Hindi
saying
kayo naghirap, nung ako'y naghirap, we made certain choices.
Yeah.
But in a situation where, halimbawa, ang tatay ng iyong ipinagbubuntis ay ang sarili mong ama,
Napakasaklap.
at hindi mo maatim na magkaroon ng anak sa iyong ama, wala ka bang choice bilang babae, bilang tao?
Tito Boy, masaklap yun. Naaawa ko sa ganung sitwasyon. Pero, hindi ako Diyos para kumuha ng buhay ng tao. Diyos ang nagbigay ng buhay. Diyos lamang ang pwedeng kumuha nito.
But you're aware, Mayor, that there's such a thing as therapeutic abortion dito sa Pilipinas. Has nothing to do
If there is therapeutic abortion that are existing, that is a therapeutic way of dealing and helping the mother with unwanted children. Oh, di ba, mayroon namang isang way. There is always two sides of the coin. It's hard, Tito Boy. Don't get me wrong. Mahirap na katatayuan yun ng isang ina na nangyari sa kanya yung ganoon. Pero, we must go on. We must fight. We must help as a state and as a family.
Okay. Ang sinasabi ko lamang sa therapeutic abortion ay isang pagkakataon kung saan pinipili ang buhay ng ina. I think medically, hindi rin ako sigurado dito, in a situation where endangered ang buhay ng ina.
That I don't know. I think that's medical, no?
That's all.
But this, as a matter of rule, as a matter of principle, life is life. Every life must be saved.
Ito'y may kinalaman sa iyong religion. May kinalaman sa iyong faith.
Takot ko kay Jesus.
Mayor Isko, pag-usapan natin ang drugs.
Okay.
Let me start with a quote from the
Nadidinig
President.
niyo po
From
ba
President
si
Duterte.
Yorme?
Ang sabi niya, I feel so bad about all these things kasi nalaman ko paano ko makontrol in 3 to 6 months ang mga generals na pulis nandyan. Tapos yung mga Bureau of Customs na inaasahan ko, PI, nasa droga. How will I succeed? Nasa droga. Alam ko na nagkamali talaga ako. Now, magtanong kayo, ang Pilipinas, are we or are we not a narco country? Sabi ng Presidente, yes we are. Sabi ko, tama yung silang mga kritiko ko. Sabi mo, noong nagpresidente ka, 3 to 6 months, hindi ko alam pagpasok ko, Davao lang kasi ako. So ang template ko, Davao, may droga. Pero sabi ko, maglaro ka dun, patay ka talaga. Give me another 6 months. That self-imposed time of 3 to 6 months, well, I did not realize how severe and how serious the problem of drug menace in this republic until I became president. Ang katanungan, you're applying to be the president of the country. Mayor Isko, how much do you know about illegal drugs in the Philippines? Gaano kalala ito? Ang Pilipinas ba ay isang narco country o hindi? Depende sa iyong pagkakaalam tungkol sa problema ng illegal drugs dito sa Pilipinas. Ano ang programa mo laban dito?
Well, unang-una, hindi ako naniniwalang narco country tayo. Unlike, at the time ng Colombian era, in the 70s and 80s, we have not reached that way. I mean, that far. But there is drugs, and it destroys family, community, and of course, a country. It can destroy a country. Now, in fairness, and I have to give credit when it's due. In fairness kay Pangulong Duterte, talagang halos hirap na hirap, kung hindi nawala, halos mawala yung droga sa kalsada. Nung mag-mayor ako, meron lang akong isang rule na, the way I grew up in the street. Kaya ako, hanggat maaari, talagang dinidiplomasya ko, no? Na basta ako, zero tolerance, non-negotiable. Drugs is drugs. If you commit it, and commit selling, we'll apprehend you. Kakalawitin ka namin. Kukunin ka namin. And we are certain about it. Kaya ang drugs sa Maynila, nagsabsab. Almost, masasabi mo, hirap na hirap silang mag-deal. Then, the second thing that I have to give to President Duterte, nawala yung manufacturing sa Pilipinas. Kasi noong dati, dito may mga nahuhuli sa Paco, sa subdivision, sa mga posh subdivision, nagpaplanta ng droga. But the problem with that, nawala nga yung clandestine na operation ng manufacturing of drugs. But the thing is, one thing that I found, bulk ng dumarating dito. So there must be something wrong with our borders. No, there must be something wrong with our ports. So, kasi kung wala na yung manufacturing, hirap na magbenta. Bakit kung dumating at mahuli namin 48 kilos, 40 kilos, 5 kilos, nahuhuli namin malalaki kasi nakapackaging na. So, I think it's high time for us to address our boundaries, our entries, the port of entries. Then, pag wala na nagpaplanta, wala na pumapasok, then, naturally, walang available na drugs.
Mayor Isko, would you continue the war on drugs?
Why not?
On the President?
Why not?
Anong pagkakaiba kung ipagpapatuloy mo? Anong pagkakapareho? Kung
Basta
ipagpapatuloy mo?
papapanagutin kita sa mata ng batas. Hindi sa batas ng sinuman. Sa mata ng batas. Which we are doing. And we will continue to do so if given a chance. No ifs, no buts.
Will it be bloody?
No. Well, sorry to say this. Things happen. Officially, within the rules. Pero at the rate we're going,
Officially within the rules.
yeah, kasi inkwentro. Wala kang napatayan nga ako ng pulis eh. Inunahan pa yung pulis ko eh.
Okay.
Then there are incident. Pero ito maganda, Tito Boy. I can honestly say to you, At 97% nahuli namin buhay.
In Manila.
In Manila.
In the city of Manila.
So, merong prototype na dahil I grew up in the streets, I grew up with criminals, I grew up with that kind of environment. Ako pa mismo nagtuturo sa Les Pumisan kung paano sasakutihin.
Having grown up with the criminals, having grown up in the streets, and I know your story, nakatikim ka ng drugs.
Never. Not solvent, not shabu, not damo, sudaplex, pidol, corex, tapos cocaine.
Mayor, bakit?
Ayoko. Kasi masisira ulo mo eh. So solving kang ganyan, nagrarugby ka, tutuloy.
Bakit alam mo doon, nung bata ka na nasisira ang ulo mo?
Nakikita ko sa mga kababata ko eh. Saka na kaya nga ako nagbasura, kaya nga ako nag-sidecar boy, kaya ako naghanap buhay. Kasi gusto ko chicha. Hindi adik. Ayoko eh. Nakita ko yun araw-araw eh. Eh, dadaan ka sa eskinita. Oh, kaya kang tusukin ng bolo eh. Sa litang eskinita. Maamoy mo, damo. Tapos you turn out, makikita mo yung mga taon to, kundi namatay, nasa mental hospital. So, nakita mo na. Kaya ayokong gawin. Kaya never, ever, not a single drop or taste or even curiosity.
Hindi ka na-pressure ng iyong mga kaibigan.
Well, salamat sa Diyos. Oh, dahil ayoko talaga.
Okay, you talked about borders. Mabilisan lamang. How will you do it? You talked about ports na doon pumapasok yung droga.
And alam mo, kaya first time, mag-i-appoint ako Navy ang ating national defense. We are archipelagic country.
Let's talk about the Philippine debt. Utang. Pakinggan natin yung data mula sa Bureau of the Treasury. Nang matapos ang termino ni President Erap, ang utang ng Pilipinas ay 2.6 trillion pesos. Matapos yung Arroyo administration, umakyat ito sa 5.1 trillion pesos. Umabot sa 6.5 trillion pesos nang matapos ang termino ni President Aquino. End of November 2021, ngayong administrasyong Duterte, ang total Philippine debt is 11.93 trillion pesos. Madalas natin naririnig, hindi ba, yung hindi pa ipinapanganak, nagbabayad na dahil sa laki ng utang ng Pilipinas. Ang aking katanungan, kung ikaw ay papalaring manalo bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, how do you intend to pay the national debt?
Well, one, we must pay. It's an obligation. And there is no shame if the state will borrow money. It's part of business. It's stimulating a hurting economy. Because you need to stimulate our state. Itong ating bansa. Dahil sa sobrang ginigiba tayo ng pandemic ito. Okay. Now, there is no bad thing about the state, the LGU borrowing money, as long as it provides opportunity and business. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan may balik. Kaya mo siya ginagawa dahil gusto mo lang i-stimulate ang ekonomiya ng iyong bansa. But, I think we can still pay. Kasi hindi ka naman papayagan, pangutangin, kung hindi mo pa kayang pagbayad. Meron namang may cap naman yan.
Debt to GDP ratio.
Bukod doon, talagang sasabihin naman sa iyo yan, masisiyasat ka, lalo na kung International Monetary Fund, mga foreign organization. In fact, ang pinakamalaking may utang sa buong mundo, Estados Unidos. But they continue to have a good economy. I think ilang $1 trillion na yung utang nila. But they manage. And that's how you do it as a state. No? Now, paano natin mababayaran? Marami tayong asset na it became liability. Marami tayong asset. For example, may mga lupang tinatangananan ng gobyerno pero nakatiwangwang. These are assets that non-performing can be disposed of. Then create source of income to offset whatever debt servicing that we can do. So that we can lessen the debt servicing in our GAA or General Appropriation Act, then we can create more development and investment to our GAA, from our GAA.
Okay, we must pay is a very good point.
We have to.
There was a point, I think, when we were allocating 20% of the national budget for debt management. Ang isa pa, ay base sa aming research, we are a good debtor. Kaya tayo'y pinauutang.
Which is good. I think we have a good credit rating nowadays.
Ang nangyari nga lang,
despite of the situation.
Yeah, yung sinabi ko lamang na debt to GDP ay nalaman din natin na medyo sagad na tayo doon at 60%. Medyo wala na masyadong elbow room dahil nga sa pandemya.
And that's why, yung kanina mga sagot ko sa iyo, we need to encourage foreign direct investment. And for us to be competitive, we have to cut some corners in terms of laws to generate and attract. Kailangan natin talaga eh. Kailangan natin ibalik yung sigla ng pagpupuhunan sa bansa ng banya.
At paano yung ginagawa?
Ay, well, we have to be competitive. In terms of, like, for example, ito yung specific. Yung kuryente natin, napakamahal. That's why I made a commitment to the general public. I'll cut it into 50% in taxes so that we can be more competitive. So there are so many things. Then perception. That's very important. Are we certain about our rules? Are we predictable? These are the things that investors may ask, whether domestic or foreigners. And it's very important. I'm just fortunate that my teacher taught me very well in understanding those things.
Balikan ko lamang yung mga sinasabi, mga assets na hindi nagagamit na pwede namang ito'y ibenta sa, you're talking about Filipino businessmen na maaaring makagamit doon sa mga lugar na yun at pagkakitaan ng gobyerno.
Exactly. For example, let's just say, hypothetical.
Okay.
Hypothetical lang. Or I have, 480 hectares of Ninoy Aquino Airport. Then I have, I'm creating a new new airport in Bulacan. And I have an airport, big airport in Clark. Then I'm building North Trail, the Tutuban.
That to you is excessive.
Huh?
That to you is excessive.
Hindi. Underutilization or maximizing opportunity for our country to grow. May utang ako, may asset ako, underperforming, non-performing.
But is that good to have so many airports?
No, it's not good.
That's what I was trying to say.
It's not good. That's excessive. Yeah, so, tingnan mo ngayon yung efficiency. Ito na, pumapasok na yung administrative management ng isang tao. On what is efficient and what is productive, how to define these things, well, siguro sa experience ng isang administrador.
At yan, handa ka.
I've been in government for 23 years, from local to national, then local.
Let's talk about Mayor Isko, the West Philippine Sea. Pag-usapan natin to dahil pinag-uusapan ng West Philippine Sea, pinag-uusapan natin ang ang Scarborough Shoal at ang bahagi ng Spratly Islands. Specifically the Kailangan Island Group. Itong mga lugar na ito ay inaangkin ng China. Sabi ng China, amin ito. Sa Subi, ang tawag natin Zamora Reef. At Mischief, ang tawag naman natin ay Panganiban Reef at iba pa. Nagtayo na dito ang China ng mga hangars, underground storage, missile shelters, radar arrays, and other facilities. Noong July 12, 2016, naglabas ng desisyon ang Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, pabor sa Pilipinas sa issue sa West Philippine Sea. Sabi ng korte, atin sa Pilipinas ang West Philippine Sea. Pero patuloy pa rin na inaangkin ito ng China. Tuloy din tayo sa pagfa-file ng mga diplomatic protests. As of December 2021, we have filed about 241 diplomatic protests. Sinasagot naman tayo ng China. 152 responses mula sa China. Ang aking tanong, as President of the Philippines, you are also the chief architect of foreign policy.
Exactly.
If all diplomatic efforts fail, bilang Presidente, do you think the Philippines is strong enough and prepared to fight a defensive war against China to protect our territorial sovereignty?
Militarily, no. We know that already. But I do believe in a civilized world, in a civilized time, we are guided by law and order. In fact, that's why we are participants of international organizations like United Nations. And in this case, the law of the sea. The court in Hague decided in our favor. It's ours. no question. Historically, it's ours. Under the the Velarde map, no? The 1737 map, I don't know the specific year, it's ours. Then technically, it's ours. We are a signatory. The other countries are signatories in that. Then those countries that are signatories in the law of the sea, then must come together and help us. Because the sauce for the gander is the sauce for the goose. Pag sila'y nangangailangan, tayo'y hinihingan. Tupdin natin ang ating tungkulin sa mga pinirmahan nating kontrata, pinirmahan nating mga agreement. They should come. Now, internally, then that's why I will appoint national defense. For the first time in history, if I'm not mistaken, first time, ang chief ko ay Navy. Why? Because we are an archipelagic country. And a good thing for us, there is no disturbance in the eastern board. But the western board, from Apari to Hulo, there is challenges there. Smuggling and the West Philippine Sea. Now, I'll try to be sensible with China. We will be fearless in dealing with West Philippine Sea. We are. At the same time, we will be fair in terms of trade with other countries. That includes China. We must coexist in economic relationship. But we will always be loyal to the Filipino people. And that is what I'm gonna do. Kung ano nakuha mo, diyan ka muna, Brad. Huwag ka muna magpalaki. Baka naman magkasubuan tayo. But historically, we were occupied by superpowers. We excel. Nanaig tayo. But point blank, militarily, we cannot go now. But other countries, strong nations, militarily, meron tayong partnership sa kanila. Meron tayong relationship sa kanila. Meron tayong agreement sa kanila. They should come and help us. That's where and now, and this is high time for us to show proof of their word and their relationship towards us.
Maraming interesado sa South China Sea dahil about 5.3 trillion worth of shipborne trade dumadaan dito. Kaya America, Australia, etc. I think that's knowledge available to all of us. Yung liit naman ng bayan, I'd just like to make reference. I'm not saying I'm for war, but in 1979, Vietnam fought a bloody war, not about the West, that's the South China Sea, but about border.
Yes.
Ang akin lamang, Isko, ay, okay, sinabi ng tribunal, halimbawa, sa Pilipinas yan, di naman nakikinig ang China eh. Inimbitahan to be part of the arbitration, tinanggihan naman nila because the complaint is infirm, the allegations are not true, at saka hindi daw in-exhaust yung bilateral talks with China. Yun ang dahilan ng China. So, as we talk, sinasabi pa rin ng China, amin yun. So what do you do?
Well, you keep on claiming it's yours. But as far as we're concerned, historically it's ours. And technically speaking, under existing rules and laws and agreements, it's ours. Favorably, binigyan tayo ng pabor doon sa desisyon.
Ang ginagamit na ng China yung historic rights daw nila. Tayo naman ang ginagawa.
Nine dash line, 19 what?
Right.
1940s, then the Velarde map, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the Spanish,
Ang ginagamit na nating dahilan ay the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea na nagsasabing this is well within the 200 nautical miles from the outermost island of the Philippines. Pero
Yes.
sabi ng China, bilateral talks lang ako, ayoko ng arbitration.
And that is my question to UN. What are you doing?
Hindi nga, ang China nga umaatras eh.
That's right. Whether
So you will go to the United Nations
of
and depend on
course,
the UN.
you are part of it. You are a signatory. You are a member. Di ba? You agreed. Hindi po pwedeng palakihan tayo ng muscle dito. That's why I told you to. In a civilized world, in a civilized time, we are guided by law and order. But for now, my interest is makapangisda ang Pilipino ron. And I guarantee you that. Kahit nandoon sila, makakapangisda ang bawat Pilipino doon. That I guarantee to every Filipino.
Let's talk about presidential qualifications.
Am I qualified?
You're applying to be president of the Republic of the Philippines. Napaka-complex. It's a gargantuan job. Una, The president is the head of government, is the chief architect of the foreign policy, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Philippines, signs budgets, manages finance, appoints justices recommended by the Judicial and Bar Council, confers the National Artist Award, manages disasters and pandemics, fights drug wars, head of her political party, has power over aliens, has power of eminent domain, practices general supervision over local governments, and pardons convicts, among many others, Mayor Isko. That's how complex a job of a president is. Samantala, sa ating saligang batas, specifically Article 7, Section 2 of the 1987 Constitution, ang qualifications para maging isang presidente ay ang mga sumusunod. Natural-born Filipino, registered voter, must be able to read and write, 40 years of age at the day of the election, and must have resided in the Philippines 10 years before the election is held. Kung ikay papalarin maging presidente ng Pilipinas, sa iyong palagay ba'y napapanahon na para amyendahan ang provision na ito ng saligang batas, oo o hindi? Bakit?
Hindi naman, marami nang dapat baguhin sa ating constitution. No? But these are the things that hindi naman kailangan masyadong pagtuunan ng pansin. Simply because at the end of the day, it is the people. It is, in a democracy, it is the people who will choose. They will choose high school finish, o may doctorate sa Oxford, o they can choose. Yan ang bisa ng demokrasya. And I think what we should go after is paano natin gagawing mas mature yung ating mga mamamayan sa pagsisiyasat sa ating mga kandidato. O paano tayo magiging responsableng mamamayan sa pagpili. Kasi ang kwalifikasyon, ako naniniwala ako, yung dapat may prueba. Hindi yung ginawa ng tatay ko, kaya gagawin ko. Yung ginawa ng asawa ko, kaya ito gagawin ko. Hindi yung ginawa ng kamag-anak nila. Where were you when we needed you most? What have you done for your fellow men? For you to be voted as the head of the state or being a president? Yung prueba is a very good qualification of any candidate because you can dream of so many things. You can think of so many things. You just sit in one whole day in a room, you can think of a lot of things. These are what you call lip service. But wala kang karanasan. Hindi mo nga alam ang katatayuan ng paano kumalaman sikmura. At alam naman natin na napakarami sa demografiya ng ating bansa, yun ang nararamdaman. Then how can you relate? You can always choose words. You can sugarcoat things. You can choose better words to describe a particular members of the society. But wala yun. At the end of the day, where were you? What have you done for your fellow men? And I think that's what matters most. More than the education, more than what... Education is needed. That I agree. But you can learn that. Tito Boy, high school finish ako when I entered into government service. And I saw nakita ko yung kahalagan ng edukasyon. Pero hindi lahat doon nagsisimula. Ang nagsisimula ang pagiging leader ay yung ikaw bilang tao na uunawaan mo ba yung kababayan mo, yung sasakupin mo, yung paglilingkuran mo.
Pero ito mga sinasabi mo na nasaan ka nung kailangan ka namin, yung karanasan, if I'm getting you right, are you willing to amend the Constitution at i-include itong karanasan bilang bahagi ng qualification?
And that's a good point. That I agree with you. Diba?
Kasi merong mga peculiarities ang bawat bayan.
Yeah.
Halimbawa sa Myanmar, hindi man ako agree, isa ngayon sa kanilang qualifications ay dapat hindi ka mag-asawa ng foreigner dahil may kinalaman kay Aung San Suu Kyi, di ba? Indonesia, high school graduate. Turkey, parang higher education.
Alam mo, magandang ginagawa, magandang pamantayan, yung sa justice system natin. Bago ka maging judge, may X number of years ka na nagtrabaho.
Great Britain. Bago ka maging prime minister, you have to be an MP, a member of parliament.
Exactly. So, meron kang pwedeng dagdagan. Huwag mo nang baguhin kasi kawawa naman, yung isang magsasaka sa bundok ng Tralala, nagsikap siyang maigi, iraos yung kanyang anak. At yung kanyang anak, naging mabuting mamamayan, nagsikap at bigla naging leader, mawawala ng pagkakataon, na maging leader na ng bansa. Mali yun.
Napapag-usapan lamang natin dahil naalala ko ang sinabi ni the late Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago na iginagalang natin ang gusto. Sabi na, pag nag-a-apply ka nga bilang police officer, nire-require ka na college graduate. Ano pa kaya ang pagiging presidente na napaka-complex? But I get your
Yes,
point.
but kasalanan din ng state. Bakit? We didn't make education available to everyone. Saan ka nakakita? Makapagkolehiyo ka, kailangan mo lumuwas ng Maynila. Ilan kayo dito, boy? Sorry, mas lamang ang edad mo sa akin, ha? Ilan kayo pumunta sa Maynila para mag-aral sa Maynila? Exactly. That's my point. So, bago natin i-claim, pataasin ang standard ng educational attainment ng isang kandidato, we made sure that education is available to any John Does and Mary, Pedro and Petra. Para walang dahilan, ba't hindi ka pa nag-aral? Libre na nga. Ba't hindi ka nag-aral? Gusto mo palang maglingkod. So, sa akin, okay ang pag-aaral, Tito Boy. Pero at some point, may kasalanan pa tayo eh. So, punan muna natin yung kasalanan nang mawalan ng dahilan ng isang taong hindi makapag-aral. Kung yun ang argument.
No, I was not referring just to the education. Yung mga ibang requirements kasi peculiar sa bawat bayan. Tapos na tayo sa ating 10 katanungan. Punta naman tayo sa personal issue-based question na iyo lamang at ako'y magtatanong. You have 60 seconds to answer. Wala akong follow-up. In 2007, Mayor Isko, you ran for Vice Mayor under Asenso Manileño. 2010, nagsanib puwersa kayo ni former Mayor Alfredo Lim. In 2012, iniwan mo ang Nationalist Party para sumama sa puwersa ng Masang Filipino with the former President Joseph Estrada na tumatakbo noon laban sa dati mong kapartido na si Mayor Lim. Noong 2016, tumakbo kang senador, you were adopted by Senator Grace Poe at ang kanyang partido ay Galing at Puso, and you were also an adopted senator by Senator Bongbong Marcos' party. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali. 2019, you ran again under Asenso Manileño. You can answer that. Because your critics accuse you of being a political butterfly. What do you have to say?
Okay. Now, I'm one of the founding father of Asenso Manileño. I've never left Asenso Manileño. Parties that you're mentioning is alliances from the local party which I belong and founded with Danny Lacuna as president and chairman. Never kaming nawalang Asenso Manila. In fact, ngayon, Tito Boy, isa sa pinakamalaking partido. 80% ng local party is Asenso Manila. We started with 6. Started in 2007 when we created it. It's now 2022, so that's about 15 years na. And we continue to be Asenso Manila. And never ko naging party mate si Erap, si Lim. Kasi nag-a-alliance kami. Kami ang kinukuha. Now, political butterfly, with all honesty, you know, I would rather, if I may borrow, my loyalty to the party ends where my loyalty to the people begins, sabi ni Manuel Quezon. Yun ang akin. Ang loyalty ko sa no matter what.
Maraming salamat, Mayor Isko. Ngayon naman ay gagawin natin ang political fast talk. 60 seconds. Sanay ka dito dahil maraming beses ka na nag-bisita sa aking iba't ibang mga programa. Okay. We begin. Mayor Isko, bakit hindi dapat iboto si Senator Lacson?
Senator Lacson? Pwede naman boto rin,
Senator Pacquiao?
Mabait naman siya eh. Okay naman.
Bakit hindi dapat iboto si VP Lenny?
Maghihiganti sa mga Marcos at Duterte.
Bakit hindi dapat iboto si Senator Marcos?
Maghihiganti sa mga Dilawan at Pinklawan.
Bakit ikaw ang dapat iboto?
Hindi ako maghihiganti kanino man. Wala akong paghihigantihan. Ako, sa dami ng problema, sa bilis ng problema, kailangan natin ng mga tunay na solusyon at mabilis na aksyon. That I can do in my own little way.
Maraming salamat. Let's go to the final question. Muli, you have 60 seconds to answer this. Wala akong follow-up. At narito ang katanungan. Latag muna ito, Mayor Isko. March 19, 2018, President Duterte withdrew the Philippines from the Rome Statute. When the withdrawal took effect on March 2019, the Philippines was no longer a member of the International Criminal Court. The withdrawal happened matapos anunsyo ni then ICC Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda ang pagbubukas ng preliminary examination sa Pilipinas with respect to the alleged crimes against humanity na nagaganap sa bansa dahil di umano sa war on drugs. The President has threatened to arrest the ICC prosecutor if she conducts activities dito sa Pilipinas because we are no longer an ICC member and the ICC has no right to do any investigating. On November 10, 2021, the Philippine government requested a deferral of the ICC's request for examination under the principle of complementarity, claiming that the country had begun its own investigations. The current ICC prosecutor, Karim Khan, in a document dated November 18, sabi niya they will temporarily suspend its investigation into the Philippines as it assesses the scope and effect of the government's request for deferral that cited the investigations being done by the DOJ. Human rights advocacy groups are urging the ICC to proceed with the investigation to not further delay justice for the victims. Tanong, Mayor Isko. Sumula, hypothetical, ang ICC prosecutor na si Karim Khan at nagre-request, Presidente Isko, pwede ba kami, ako at ang aking team, pumunta sa Pilipinas para simulan na ang preliminary investigation sa di umano'y mga krimen laban sa sangkatauhan na may kinalaman sa war on drugs ni President Duterte. Bilang Presidente, ano po ang inyong gagawin? Papayagan mo ba sila pumunta dito sa Pilipinas? Oo, hindi. Bakit?
Welcome kayo rito. Wala man tayo tinatago. Our justice system continues to work and it's effective.
Yung may bisita tayo na na mukhang spam. Let's report first. Unwanted commercial content or spam report. Okay, bye guys.